Okay, so thank you for being here today. Today is Thursday at 7. Thank you all for logging on. I know this is probably prime family time because I just finished making some food so everybody could eat. But we are here and I wanted to talk about the 4 questions to ask yourself before you make a new offer. So a new offer could be a new service. It could be, whatever your new is in your industry. We need to ask ourselves these questions, or you need to ask yourself these questions. And inevitably, everyone has had to ask themselves this question if they are in this phase of life. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Koyeda and I help you scale your business smart, okay? And help you make that extra money. So in terms of your business, so whether you are a beauty pro, that's my field, that's the people I help, beauty pro and service providers. However, this could apply to anyone making changes or trying to think about what their next is and what it's going to look like. And you're drumming up ideas and thinking about what could be in the pipeline. And I don't want you to lose your creativity, because the idea of this post or of this live is not about not being creative. It's just understanding why you're building before you add more to what you have to hold on to, right? Before you add more to your workload, before you think about, stacking on something else, you have to weigh the consequences of what that means. Because sometimes when you're adding more, it's not actually going to help, but serve more as a distraction, right? We have this tendency, I know I do, of sometimes when you think there's like a lull or you're looking for that next exciting thing, you want to add something else, but what is the purpose? And we really have to ask ourselves those questions. So you've built something successful, which is fantastic, but the next step isn't always to add. Sometimes it's more to clarify what comes next, right? And the clarity begins with asking better questions. I'm not sure if you've heard that saying before. I have, and I thought, that's smart. Ask better questions. So I have 4 questions on top that I want you to think about. And they're questions within questions as well. So 4 questions that I want you to think about when you're trying to, before you create that new offer, before you move on to that new thing. Let's start with number 1. Am I creating from a place of clarity or urgency? Am I creating from a place of clarity or urgency? This is an excellent question because, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes when there's a lull in your business, for beauty pros, medical estheticians and so forth, there is a summer lull. Like things get a little slow in the summertime and the tendency is to add on something else. But why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? We have to ask ourselves that question. Is there a need? What is the need? What's the financial need? What does it look like for your bottom line? So before you do all of this, hit pause. Do me a favor, hit the pause button, right? Because you have to ask yourself this: is it solving a long-term need, or is it just something short-term? Like, sometimes we're just bored. Sometimes we're comparing ourselves to other people. And sometimes you want to create, but the fact is you're going to be adding more to your plate, more burnout to your plate. So you really have to weigh why you're doing that. You don't want to create an offer from a reaction, right? Because it just creates more noise, more stuff for you to do, more things for you to think about, right? And ultimately, you want to make sure your load is as light as possible. So that's question number 1. Am I creating this from a place of clarity or urgency? I've been guilty of creating from urgency because sometimes, listen, not every offer sells. Not every offer makes the amount of money you think it's going to make or you plan and envision for it to make. It doesn't always work that way. So sometimes when you're in that place, you want to create something else, but it's not the right move. So figure out why you're doing what you're doing. Number 2, does this support the lifestyle I want, or am I trying to grow out of it, right? Does this new offer support the lifestyle I want, or the one I'm trying to grow out of? Let me rephrase that again, because I said it wrong the first time. Does this support the lifestyle I want, or the one I'm trying to grow out of, right? So when you're adding something to your plate, does it support what you see for yourself, your future you? Does it support your future revenue goals? Does it support, the life you've envisioned for yourself? Is it adding more margin, or is it just adding, depleting your energy? Is it giving you more, or is it taking away more? So if you've been craving slower mornings, more travel, fewer appointments, is it aligned with that, or just causing you to overfunction, right? Whatever you're adding to your plate should give you more margin to live the life you want, more margin to, move to your next in a way that's creates more space and that creates more ease. It shouldn't take away from the lifestyle you desire. So number 2, does this support the lifestyle I want, or the one I'm trying to grow out of? That is a great question. Number 3, would I still deliver this if 3 people bought it? Would I still deliver this if 3 people bought it? Great question. The reason why that question works is because it checks you. It's a gut check. It's a motivation check. Like, am I doing this for the right reason? Am I doing this for the right reason? Like, what is the pull behind it? What is the motivation behind it? Is it money? Is it divine inspiration? Is it a divine word? Like, what is the motivation behind it? Because I know some people are like, yeah, it's an idea God gave me, and it doesn't matter how many people, like, as long as he gave it to me, and it's the obedience behind it, that's a great motivation. The obedience of God is a great motivation. But if it's something else, you got to weigh that. And are you building something that you actually want to hold and lead? Okay. Or does it feel like it's just something that's on trend or easier to sell? Is it something that's on trend, easier to sell? Do you want to hold and lead it? These are great questions that you have to ask yourself, because you got to think about it. Who's going to hold the bag on this one? Is it sustainable? Right? And you got to really weigh that out especially in terms of trends. We all know trends are happening, and the thing about trends is that they fade, right? It could work in the immediate, which is fantastic, why it all goes back to number 1, which is thinking about, short term versus long term, right? On trend and easier to sell, yes, those things are great, but what does it mean for your long term goal? And if it's in the short term, who and how is it going to sustain? Who's going to sustain it? How's it going to work? Who's going to hold the bag on this one? Right? So we really have to think about your motivation and who going to lead it? Who going to hold the bag on this one? Right? So that's number 3. Would I still deliver this if only 3 people bought it? Because that can be very demotivating. I've been there. As I said, launch things, nobody bought it. 0 crickets. And thought about hanging things up a little. So, you really got to understand what your motives are behind this. And number 4, is my current structure even ready to hold this new offer? Is my current structure even ready to hold this new offer? That is a great question, because sometimes we rush to do things and we don't think about, what's currently there. Does it fit? Does it allow space for something else? Does it allow the extra time for that? So if you're already booked up and backed up, how is this thing going to help? If the back end of your business is messy, if the schedule is messy, if the schedule is maxed out, if you have no strategy or structure, then adding more will not fix it, right? If your messaging is unclear about what you currently do and what you're offering and your services and all them things, adding more is not going to fix that. If the messaging ain't messaging, adding more is not going to fix that. So the groundwork needs to be ready. It needs to be ready. And this is where structure comes in, which I talk a lot about. Okay? Because a solid foundation makes new growth more sustainable and less stressful. A solid foundation makes new growth sustainable and not stressful. Now, I'm not saying moments of stress will not come up, but if you plan this in the best way, if you understand what goes into it, if you plan out and understand these questions, then you're going to be in a better position to be able to go forward and present your offer and perhaps not go forward. Because sometimes we start things and regret doing it in the first place, and now you're stuck with it. You're stuck with it. You don't love it. It tires you out, or you do love it and you're still tired. You can have a business. Let me say this. You can have a business and still be resentful. You can be making money, 6 figures, 5 figures, whatever the amount is, and still be resentful, right? Because the structures are not in place. You didn't weigh it out. It wasn't something that was thought out to the fullest, and you're just going by the seat of your pants. And things are working out in the sense that you're making money, but you're not happy. So all these questions have to be at full in full view when you're thinking about what's coming next, right? Because more isn't always the move. More isn't always what the next step should be. Sometimes it's about realigning what you currently have. And sometimes that is where you'll find the breakthrough, right? So we don't want to be reactionary. We want to be grounded in strategy. You don't want to be reactionary. You want to be grounded in strategy. You want to be grounded in with a plan, right? So these are the type of things we talk about in the Bill for More audit. I don't know why my voice keeps cracking, but it does. So the Bill for More audit allows us to look behind your business and to quietly see what's draining you, where we could shore up, where we could close some holes, and where we could make more money, essentially. And if you're at the crossroads with your business and wondering what's next, you don't want to overload yourself again. You don't want to do something you don't want to enjoy. You want to move to your next. You want to move to something else that makes you money, right? And you want to allow what you currently have to be in the best place for strategy and strategize for your next income as well. Because the point of this is not just to help people, but to make money. We want to be able to give back and help. And sometimes the way to do that is to strategize for that, to make that money and then pour it back into, the charity portion. You got to make money so you can give, right? You got to do that. But you want to do it from a clear point, right? So DM me Build, because Build for More is open. We have 6 spots left, and this is not going to last forever. This is like a really low entry point to work with me, because it's up there. So this allows you to get your Build for More audit workbook, which gives you 6 sections to work through, and then you book your session with me to go through a 30-minute strategy session. Usually my strategy sessions are 1 hour, but this is 30 minutes because most of the work will already be done by going through that audit, right? And this, as I said, it's a low entry point to work with me. It's going to be over very soon. So I want you to get in if you can. Get in if you can. DM me if you have any questions, DM the word Build, and I'll send you the link and you can sign up. So actually, if you have any questions, jump in right now, ask me, and I will answer for you. All right, no questions. Thank you all for joining my live. As I said, DM me, Built, to get the Bill for More audit, where you get your audit workbook, and you will be able to book your 30-minute strategy session with me. So it's been real nice talking to you, and I will see you next time. Bye.